Of the matter is that he is a threat to democracy.
No, I think we should be clear that he is a threat to democracy.
He is a threat.
There hasn't been a fair primary for the Democrats since 2008. Are they not also a threat to democracy? Yes. We often hear...
Fair enough.
So for the last 10 to 12 years, since Donald Trump decided to get into politics, campaign, and become the president, his enemies, the Democrats, have told us continuously, relentlessly, that he is a threat to democracy.
If you think it's time for Democrats to stop calling Trump a threat to democracy.
No, fact of the matter is that he is a threat to democracy.
No, I think we should be clear that he is a threat to democracy.
Do you think that the rhetoric, though, needs to be toned down?
I think his rhetoric should be toned down, absolutely.
Listen, these are the facts. He is a threat, period, point blank.
It's so interesting that the Democratic Party have been singing this tune about Trump, considering what they themselves have been doing in their party by sidelining Bernie Sanders for Clinton, sidelining Bernie Sanders again for Kamala Harris, lying about Joe Biden's health. They have been embedded with corruption for at least 7 to 8 years now, right? But they tell us that Trump is the threat to democracy. That's quite interesting. Now, what is very interesting and surprising is that Bernie Sanders, one of the top dogs of the Democratic Party, had a sit-down with Andrew Schulz and his crew on the Flagrant 2 podcast. And Akash Singh, who is one of the hosts, asked him, do you think that the Democratic Party, considering what they have done, are also a threat to democracy? Let's check it out.
We're going to tinker around the edges to make a little bit of a change here. Trump says the whole goddamn
horrible.
system is broken.
Yeah.
But he said, I will fix it.
Yeah.
Well, his solutions will make it worse. But he at least acknowledged that the system is broken. Democrats often don't.
They don't acknowledge it. And there's a lot of finger wagging, or at least recently. I didn't feel that when I was growing up, but at least recently there's a lot of finger wagging. And then there's almost like this detachment from working class people, which is really sad because you'll see them echo certain sentiments. They'll be like, look at the Biden stock market. And it's like, guys, 50% of Americans aren't even invested in the fucking stock market.
No.
Like, you're so detached from working class people, you don't even know the talking points to make them feel good about the economy.
Right.
So how
Can't
do
even
you,
lie to them properly.
Yeah, it's like so what happened? How do we get here with the Democrat establishment?
It's a great question.
Well, and the answer is that we do know, and that is during the 70s, 60s, Democrats caught on that you could raise a lot of money from wealthy people, and it gets back to campaign financing and all that stuff. So you got a Democratic establishment now, which is funded by wealthy people. You have consultants who are really way out of touch.
It came out that Kamala Harris had about 80 to 100 multi-millionaires into billionaires that were obviously funding her campaign.
Much with reality, who make a whole lot of money in campaigns, and working class is ignored. Donald Trump comes along and says, I care about you, which was a lie. So
I don't know if that's a lie. I'd give pushback on that.
A lie.
I think that it has to be proven that it's a lie.
All right, I'll prove it.
Yes, thank you. And you're right, I could look through rose-colored glasses, but the idea, I think that when people are struggling, anybody who goes, hey, I'm going to help you out. Like I'm sure when I remember the impact of Obama.
Change.
He ran on reform and he ran on hope, right?
Yes.
He ran on this idea of we're going to make it better for you, instead of Kamala seemed to run on this idea like, hey, it's good, we're going to keep doing the exact same thing. Right. Which is a losing strategy.
You got it.
So
that was her bloody consult. I mean, I know Kamala. She's a friend. She's very smart. That was what her bloody consultants told her to say. I begged them. I'm just between you.
Why can't she push back? Like at a certain,
you're right. Look, there's no argument.
And this is the problem I think a lot of voters had, is like they didn't even know if it was her. We didn't even know if Biden was president. We didn't even know if these were her talking points. And we felt that over the last 4 elections, Democrats, we felt that we didn't have a say on who could be president. We talk a lot about the Republicans being autocrats and oligarchs and taking over democracy, but from the Democrat perspective, and I'm a lifelong Democrat, I felt like the Democratic Party completely removed the democratic process from its constituents.
Yep.
And I think they need to have some accountability of that.
No argument here.
Absolutely.
I donated
is
for
what-
you. I mean, I wanted you to the 2016. I was like, this is going to happen. This guy's going to do it, and it felt like they stole it from me. And I'll be honest, it broke my heart when you supported him.
Look, but you have, in the world that I live in, you got a choice. And I mean, a lot of people, including my wife, agree with you. But, you know, you're down to a choice. Is it going to be Hillary Clinton or is it going to be Donald Trump? Not a great choice.
But it ended up being him anyway, so why don't we burn it down?
Well, because it's easy to say burning it down means that children are not going to have, you know, food to eat, that the schools will deteriorate, people will not have health care.
I got it.
And I'm an elected official. I got to represent the people.
That's fair.
And I can't turn my back on.
But then could we not also say if ostensibly there hasn't been a fair primary for the Democrats
Yep.
since 2008,
Yep.
are they not also a threat to democracy? We often hear
Fair enough. That is, yeah, I'm not going to argue with that point. And that's why I'm proudly an independent. What we're trying to do now, and I will.
The Democrats are so fucking stupid, bro. Like, how the hell did they sideline this guy for Hillary Clinton, bro? Like, people need to go check her stats, her resume. She is no good. You go, I mean, how the hell did they do that? And then they sidelined him again for Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. And they want to tell us about Trump being a threat to democracy. They have to look in-house first, bro.
Just reinforce the point both of you made. The hatred that we felt in 2016, 2020 from the Democratic establishment. I'll give you an example. We would do rallies and we have thousands of people, often young
amazing.
people of color coming out, working class people coming out. They were great, full of energy. Yeah. And then we go to Democratic Party events. And there'd be a few hundred people, mostly older, whiter, wealthier. And you saw the clash. And the establishment did not want to open the door. They hated the idea that all these people whose hands were a little bit dirty, who didn't have PhDs or weren't wealthy, imagine walking in, it's my party, man. You ain't getting in.
Yes.
We will fight you in the most ruthless ways that we can. And that's the struggle. Are they going to open the door, or are they prepared to lose elections, literally, and maintain the
status quo?
Go down with the Titanic. So that is.
Do you think you're forcing the door open? Because
We're
it
trying.
seems like that's what's happening right now.
Exactly what we are trying to do right now. In the last month, we have enlisted some, I think, the latest 7,000 people who are prepared to run for office from school board to Congress.
Wow.
Not all of them will run, but they've shown interest. There are training programs that we're undertaking with other groups right now. And by the way, a good percentage of them don't want to run as Democrats. They want to run as independents.
Yep.
So do you sense from the Democratic establishment that they're more willing to listen to people like you, or are you guys just going to have to kind of take it by force and win elections?
Are they, well, I don't want to, are they more willing to listen to me? No. They're not.
But they'll take on some of your ideas for salvation. They realize
Often
they
lip
can't
service.
ignore it.
Often lip service.
Yeah.
Yes, they will. They will take on the ideas. But these guys,
I don't see the Democratic Party as currently set up winning anything in the next election. And I'm not going to be surprised if a lot of their people move over to independent. You get what I'm saying? Which to me, I want them to do that, because this whole two-party tier system is clearly not working.
they want to protect what they have. So your question is you would say, look, okay. And by the way, Joe Biden, to his credit, I know everyone beats up on Biden, but what Biden did, unlike Hillary Clinton did, is he and his people saw that we had a movement. And what he did was prepared to put together task forces. We sat down with their people, and we brought people like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and some of the strongest. We sit down with establish and come up with a program. A lot of what went into the American Rescue Plan, which got us out of the COVID pandemic economically pretty well, and some other stuff. So the Biden people were more open to sitting down, understanding that we represented millions of people than other people in the past, or are right now.
I feel like most politicians are swayed by money and lobbyists, and that I wouldn't say dictates, but it definitely influences their decisions. You feel like one of the last honest politicians. Can you tell me what other politicians have the Bernie stamp of approval that they're like honest?
Yeah, who's not bought?
Oh, there are a number of people. Look, one of the successes that we've had that doesn't get a lot of attention is in the House of Representatives now, there are dozens and dozens of young, often people of color, often women, who are there. I mean, Alexandria is maybe the best known, but Pramila Jayapal from Washington State, Greg Kazar from Texas, Mark Buchan from Wisconsin. There are many of them, and they're doing a great job. And they don't take corporate PAC money, and they stand up for the working class.
Okay. By the way, guys,
This is going to be very interesting. Next election is going to be very interesting, but I honestly think that the Democratic Party, they need to clean house. They need to clean house. They need to purge the party because the way it is right now, horrible, horrible. They are corrupt. They're taking money from PACs. You know, because at the end of the day, if you're being supported by billionaires and establishments and companies and everything, of course, they're not giving you the money for free. Everybody knows that, you know? So it is so interesting seeing Bernie Sanders call out his own party, say, yo, we are also a threat to democracy. That's crazy. But let me know your thoughts. Put it in the comment section. Like this video, share it, and subscribe to this channel. It's your boy, Toby. Salute.